So I'm joined this week, as I promised last week, by a very special guest, and you can interpret special as you want. I think he is. This is James from Olive Studios. How you doing?
I'm all right.
And we are here to discuss something that, as I said last time, is more your love than mine, I think. I mean, rewatching it for this, I did actually appreciate it more because I'm older.
Okay.
But it is mainly your thing. It is, of course, The Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis and Ellen Greene.
Feed me.
And, of course, Steve Martin and Levi Stubbs as the voice of Audrey 2.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the Roger Corman film, which is, in your own words...
Crap.
There you go. So...
Sorry.
No, that is the best way to talk about it. Although it does show us a young Jack Nicholson, which is never a bad thing.
No, that's the best
So, the real question, I suppose, as I've done the last couple of weeks, is what it's meant to me. What it's given me, if you will. So, with your interpretation, as it were, how or what does this mean to you?
Well, I first watched it when I was probably about 10, 12, something like that.
So impressionable.
Oh, very, very. And I instantly fell in love with the character of Seymour.
Okay.
I felt like I identified with him slightly. It was more of he's having a rough time of things, and he fancies this girl, the unrequited love thing, and all that.
Yeah.
And then he gets thrust into the limelight. I didn't identify with that part at all. There was no limelight back then. But yeah, I always wanted an opportunity to happen for me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a murderous kind of way.
I'm glad to hear that.
Or a kind of
Hide the
plantish kind of way. But yeah, and I love the song Skid Row and the end of that and how it turned into that. Show me how maybe someday I'll find a way out of here kind of thing.
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought that song was amazing.
I mean, when I was rewatching it, I'd forgotten Skid Row for the most part.
Oh, okay.
Because I've only seen it maybe once or twice.
Oh,
in my
okay.
entire
No.
life,
Oh,
so-
wow.
So, of course, the ones in my mind were Suddenly Seymour and Me and Green Mother.
Great
of
song.
course.
Not going to deny that. What
But-
about the dentist?
Well, that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Right, okay.
And we'll get to him in a moment.
Okay.
But with Skid Row, rewatching it, it was very much indicative of my life growing up because we were a very kind of impoverished family. It was making ends meet with very little. So
Yeah.
I think maybe in the back of my mind I had got that identifier.
Yeah.
And as I say, rewatching it really reawoken that. But that's the great thing. I've said it with Rocky last time. This does the silly, the ridiculous, but it also has a good message. It's
It
got
does,
that
yeah, it's true.
core heart, which is an important piece. But I did say we'd talk about the dentist because every opportunity you get, you do, in fact,
Sing the dentist
Sing the
song
dentist song,
karaoke, yes.
you are somewhat obsessed with Orin Scrivello, I believe,
yeah,
DDS, yes.
Yeah.
So why...
Not really obsessed with
No.
it. No. I just like doing the song.
Yeah,
It's sadistically funny.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's akin to the Joker from Batman,
Okay, yeah.
but kind of the reverse,
So
almost.
he's crazy before anything, as it were.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah,
He doesn't
I
need a
suppose.
prompt.
Yeah, that's it. He's just mad.
As it says at the start of the song, he was torturing puppies and stuff from a
with a
young
BB
age.
gun.
Yeah.
And poisoning guppies. And
Yeah.
when he was done, he'd find a pussycat and bash its head.
Not that you know the song too well.
No, honest. I sang it the other day without lyrics. Yeah, it's that bad.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I remember a time when the Little Shop of Horrors soundtrack was in my CD case.
Okay.
When I had a CD Walkman,
Yeah.
you couldn't fit in your pocket.
Now, kids, that was the old version of an MP3 player.
Like
if
an
you're too young
iPod.
to remember it.
An iPod that took
Yeah.
CDs, you had to put physical media into
Actual
it.
discs.
In order to play it. So you had to carry a case for it that had like a CD wallet in it or something like that.
Yeah.
So that you could listen to something other than that one disc. Of course, the advent came around that you could compile CDs.
Yes.
At which point that was lots of fun.
I've got a raft of self-curated ones. So,
I'd take tracks off all my favourite albums and put them all together into one disc.
I think the first one I had actually had the Batman theme.
It's a bit like making a mixtape
Yeah.
for yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I carried the Little Shop of Horrors soundtrack around with me, and the tracks that always stood out to me, first of all, was Skid Row. I always listened to that.
Yeah.
Dadu.
Yeah.
I know that word for word, perfectly timed against Rick Moranis.
Wow.
Even now, I haven't watched the film in 5 years until last Tuesday.
Okay.
And Dadu, I mouthed it perfectly along with him.
That's terrifying.
It is a little.
Yeah.
I love Feed Me, Grow For Me,
Yeah.
even love Supper Time, but of course Mean Green Mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the pods just really bring it out.
Yeah. I love that.
But it's the feel of it, isn't it? I think with the piece in total.
Yeah.
And part of that is the Greek chorus, as it's called. That's what those three
The
women
three
are
ladies,
referred to.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
technically, a Greek chorus historically was like 12 to 50, apparently.
Okay.
Random bit of research I did. But yeah, the Greek chorus, I think, really helps sell it because they are a good narrative tool.
I guess if you were to compare it to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's the equivalent to the historian.
A little, yeah. The narrator guy, yeah, the chronologist.
That's a chronology.
Yeah.
If you put those two together, you've got your Greek chorus and them,
Yeah.
and they kind of provide the exposition, don't they, a lot?
Yeah.
So it really helps along with the film. But never mind that, the fact that those three were such good singers as well.
And of course, named after backing or singers groups.
Yeah,
Like Chiffons, the Ronettes, all that kind of stuff. It was a clever little in-joke
Clever, yeah.
that you wouldn't necessarily spot. But on the subject of singers, of course, Levi Stubbs.
Oh.
Obviously voicing Audrey 2 of the Four Tops, amongst other things.
Yeah, but
And
you're perfect.
Is
He
it
was
just
perfect.
me, or do you think Ken Page, as Oogie Boogie, took a little... I know it's meant to be like, Cab Calloway and stuff
I
like
can
that,
see
but
that.
there's an
Yeah.
element. Rewatching it, I was like,
Yeah.
this is Oogie Boogie in places.
Yeah.
And I do think Ken Page, as much as he did a great job, I think he was cribbing a little. But a lot of places
Probably.
have cribbed from it.
It is an inspirational piece.
It's
I mean,
iconic, yeah.
It's made me think about songwriting in a different way as well in the past. So I've looked at doing things and extending moments just because. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, like in Suddenly Seymour, there's that bit where I'd say, sure.
Yeah.
And
it's like half a beat or something.
Yeah.
But it just...
It just that
sells the
little
moment.
extra bit, yeah.
Which
and
is great for a Broadway production, but it's terrible if you're trying to do a recording like in a decent time.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. But yeah, it made me think about how you time your words up with the music as well. The cadence.
And maybe that's part of why, because you've mentioned to me before with my songs how I do things sometimes a little offbeat. I kind of float around a little. And maybe that's part of that inspiration.
But it's also the same in Rocky Horror. I mean, Richard O'Brien's writing and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'd say that, for me, I've always thought of the two films as kind of like, Little Shop was the kiddie version of Rocky Horror in a way.
Slightly more family friendly.
That's it, yeah. Rocky Horror's got all the as they would call it, deviant behaviour in it.
Yeah.
Whereas Little Shop hasn't got that side to it, aside from the dentist and Audrey.
Yeah. And of course Bill Murray.
Don't even mention
That's deviant behaviour in
He
that.
was the perfect casting, really.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of anyone that would be better in that role.
Yeah.
I said it the other night when I watched
It's
it.
like Venkman and the guy who enjoys dentistry too much are just him.
That's it. It's so true.
It's perfect.
Candy bar.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But the other great thing, talking about the music, is the fact that obviously it's Alan Menken and Howard Ashman.
Oh, yeah, well.
And I don't know about you, Somewhere That's Green is part of your world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching it again. I was like, at the end of it, like, somewhere that's green. I was like, part of your world. I was like, wait a minute.
Mashup coming.
Yeah, maybe. But of course, they also did Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame that obviously he did die from AIDS at only about 40, I think. It is a sad loss and it is a shame.
Yeah.
But the only real big question I think that remains on the subject of Little Shop of Horrors is, which version do you consider the superior? Because of course there's the original version, which is closer to the stage play. Then there's the saccharine sweet version they did because audiences didn't like it. Then of course the intended version restores all that with the effects colorized, etc.
On top of that, there's the modern stage show, which is slightly different.
The revival, yeah.
Because I've seen that about 3 times.
So, well, just thinking of the two filmed versions first of all.
We'll stick with the film. Okay.
It's kind of what I did with Rocky. So.
Oh, it's a tough one. See, I grew up with the original that we all saw, the ending where he electrocutes it and it blows up and they go off somewhere that's green and then you see the plant in the flower bed and you go...
But of course we didn't have the song finale, brackets, Don't Feed the Plants.
I already had that. It was on the soundtrack.
Well...
So I never knew how
you got the best of both worlds.
I knew the song, but it was never in the film and I was like, why isn't this in the film?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I love that song. I really did love that
Yeah.
song. And then only about a year ago, maximum,
Yeah.
I saw the alternative, the original ending, the intended ending, as it was.
Well, I think that Blu-ray/DVD only came out, I think, 2012, so it is quite a recent thing anyway.
Yeah.
Less than a decade.
So I watched that and I was quite blown away by it. Having said that, if you refer to the stage production,
Yeah.
the ones I've seen, I don't really want to give spoilers for the end of the stage production, because if you go and see it, it's slightly different, but it ties
Well, here's
along
your
with this
spoiler
version.
warning. If you want to see the stage production and you haven't yet, skip. I'll put a timepiece in now that'll show you when to get to. So that's your warning. Go.
Okay, so the stage production, the plant eats Seymour at the end,
Right, yeah.
and then you hear that they've taken over the world, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in the alternate ending, the
Yeah.
intended ending. And you watch it, and the effects budget for that must have been huge.
Yeah.
Like the entire film's effects budget fit into the last
Yeah.
2 minutes, kind of thing.
It does feel
And,
like, yeah.
And I love the big plant storming the city, and
Yeah.
and the fact that the bridge is swaying with a big plant on it. And
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely stunning. But I prefer the original. I prefer the one I saw as a kid.
You like the happy
I
ending.
think that's more of a nostalgia type of thing.
Yeah. You often do, with new versions of things that come out, you do often sort of leech onto the first version that you saw.
Well,
you do
it's
tend to
like,
prefer it.
for example, with Stephen King's It,
Yeah.
I was terrified by Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Yeah.
Genuinely terrified by it.
I mean, even on the moments where he's just being ridiculous and being like, ha 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 ha,
It's still
that's
scary.
still terrifying
It
because
is, yeah.
of the whole piece. Yeah.
But whereas the new one, the only bit that terrified me was when it came out of the projector screen in the garage kind of thing, and
Yeah.
had all the mouth of all.
I mean, that was a really good setup as well.
Yeah.
You know, so I can understand that one being the sort of big moment.
But the rest of it, I wasn't scared through any of it.
I'm just remembering the silly dance. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the way they shook the camera up and down with him, and it moved. And
Yeah.
that was very cleverly done.
Yeah. Well, an easy After Effects plugin, probably, but
Possibly, but still. Anyway,
Being
back
honest.
to Little
Yeah.
Shop. Yeah, I think I did prefer the original version from a nostalgia perspective, and I don't really like remakes generally if they change stuff too much.
yeah.
Like the remake of Psycho, when they did that really worked for me because it was shot by shot.
Although for
Let's
some
just-
people that was like, why bother?
Well, there is
But
that.
Vince Vaughn, often known for being comedic, actually did really well.
He
in that.
did do
So,
a very good job in that, I have to admit. And
This is
there
what we're good
the-
at. We go on tangents a lot.
There is the why bother, but I mean, if someone was to remake Little Shop,
Yeah.
shot for shot, with modern day effects,
Oh yeah.
to be honest with you, I don't think I'd like it because it stands up.
Yeah.
You look at the prosthetics and the obvious animatronics that they've
Yeah.
had to use to make that plant move. Just watch the way its
quality.
lip moves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you pretend my fingers are its lip, it's doing things like this.
Yeah.
And that...
Which, like, you've probably got one person for each little motion.
Yeah,
like,
that's
kind of
it,
doing
yeah,
the wave.
yeah.
I mean, I looked at the number of puppeteers, obviously including people like Brian Henson and that
Right,
kind of,
yeah,
cast of characters, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Frank Oz.
Well,
Of course, they know him.
You'd bring him in, wouldn't he?
So,
So-
but it's like about 15 maybe people, I think, was on the list.
Just for Audrey
Just
2.
for Audrey 2.
Wow.
That's a really impressive amount.
That is, yeah. That's
So-
it's not as impressive as Labyrinth, the
No.
magic dance scene. How many were in that?
Oh,
30,
too many.
40?
But on that note, one of the other songs that you like, I didn't realise Danny John Jules, someone you know, was actually in that sequence. He's one of the backup guys who goes, Shabua, or whatever it is.
Oh,
Shabua.
is he?
Yeah, he's on the far left. I'll put the clip on right now and you'll see
Okay.
it when it's actually up.
And I'll
But
watch that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't notice Danny and Jules in Little
I
Shop.
went, is that Danny? Pause. Yeah,
You have to talk to him about that one.
yeah, another one to raise with him.
Yeah.
But so, back to that question then, so you prefer the theatrical cut, we'll call
Yeah,
it.
we'll call it that. Yeah, the
I think with me,
standard release.
I think with me it's a bit more like How I Met Your Mother. There's a middle ground. I'd like a kind of element of that. I'd like the darkness of the death, but I'd like it to kind of not be this whole, they take over the world. Just kind of do something different. I don't know what that something different is, but some kind of way of ending it dark, but not over the top.
See, personally, if I could do that, I'd do it the opposite way around. I'd have Seymour survive
Right.
and be the guy that knows how to get rid of the plants, and he's trying to help everybody
So
to
he
get
becomes
rid
like
of
the
them.
hero.
Yeah, I'd like that.
That's actually a good journey, yeah. Seymour Krelborn, reluctant hero.
Reluctant hero. Yeah.
Okay, coming to theatres soon.
Like, for example, you can imagine Seymour having a cutting of Audrey 2, somewhere,
Yeah.
and experimenting and finding out that certain
certain,
acids
like,
or
weed
something
killers,
like that
basically,
will
yeah.
kill it, and then talking to the government and finding mass dispersal methods and things like that.
Those kind of bombs that release clouds.
Yeah, they're still friendly to everything else, but just kill the Audrey 2s. And you can imagine them trying to do that kind of thing. And I think that would have been a nice way to do it, because then him and Audrey could have worked together on stuff and had a nice happy ending in a kind of different way. You know.
I like the dark endings, though. I'm sick and twisted, as we all know.
But then the theatrical ending still was a bit dark, because they showed it's not over yet.
Yeah.
You know.
The buds were still there in.
However, how long would it take Seymour to find that?
Yeah.
The first time he rakes and trims the grass, he loves to mow and weed.
Yeah.
He'd find that and destroy it.
That's it.
That's it, done.
So actually, that happy ending is happy even
But
when you
it's
take that in.
also suggesting that they're everywhere.
Yeah.
At which point
Well, based on Patrick Martin obviously taking a cutting himself, you never know what he's done with them.
didn't take it, did he?
Well, I'm sure he did. I thought he did take cuttings in
he
both
didn't.
versions.
No, he went to do it, and Seymour screamed at him
Okay.
to go away.
Yeah,
Get
but
out
he
of
still
here.
had one.
Oh, did he already have one?
Yeah, he
then?
had one that he'd done. Patrick Dooley / Jim Belushi, depending on which version.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually had one ready, so
We don't know if he took it with him or not.
He
Right.
could actually make things very, very difficult.
It's true.
But yeah.
But there, I mean, let's face it, the intended ending could have happened after
Yeah.
the theatrical one anyway.
Yeah.
Could have gone, meanwhile, 6 months later kind of thing.
Yes, there we
Flash
go.
forward. So if anybody out there wants to make an edit of the film, get rid of the bit where the plant eats Seymour, go straight from the end of the theatrical cut and put in the intended ending straight after that.
Put like a 6 months later,
6 months later.
title card, and then straight into the
Maybe have
finale.
a newspaper spin up with
Yes.
evil killer
take
plants
over.
take over the world. Attack of the killer plants from outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Killer Tomatoes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's akin to it.
It's a great piece. It's got darkness. It's got silliness.
Yeah.
It's just fun. We've both enjoyed it in different ways,
I'd
but in
agree.
similar ways as well.
Yeah.
But I think that'll do it for this talk on Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay. I was walking in the wholesale flower district that day,
Were you?
and I passed by this place where this old Chinese man. Anyway.
Chang
sorry.
Dadu.
Dadu.
But yeah, so I've really enjoyed this. Thank you very much
That's
again.
fine. Yeah,
If you want to
I
look at
enjoyed
what
it.
James does, if you're in the local area, there's plenty of open mics in the area. I'll put links down below. Or you can look at Olive Studios' YouTube channel, which has got a lot of stuff all over it, all over the place. There's a lot of stuff there. I'm on it in pieces. It's great. But that's it for this week. So next time, I'll be being poked in the ear by someone different. No. Next time, I will be discussing something that is really sick and twisted, but again has a very hopeful message. So I do hope you'll join me then. But until then, as always, thank you for watching and take care.